The Sun card. So as we get higher in the major arcana cards, you'll notice that they become better and better. So whenever the sun comes up, it represents happiness, success, optimism. There's vitality and a new energy. There's joy, there's confidence, there's happiness, and it also represents truth. So in addition to its own straight, angular light beam, the sun radiates the wavy lines, and those wavy lines represent intuitive lines. And those intuitive lines are also on the ground, on the path of the moon card. So the conscious mind is represented by the angular lines, and the subconscious represents the wavy lines. And these two minds have been freshly integrated into a new level of personal wholeness and oneness. And that represented is by the face in the sun. So, in other words, a personal rebirth or transformation has occurred or will occur or is occurring, depending on where it is. So, the individual has successfully combined the balance and diverted aspects for the self. So, the spiritual self has been born, and the child in the card suggests that. So we are now newborns on the spiritual realm or in the spiritual realm. We are safe, we're protected, we're trusting, we're open and carefree, but we're also taken care of and connected to spirit. So the white horse indicates the taming and purification of the basic self. For the child now controls this aspect effortlessly. The victory flag and the wreath are evident, pointing to new accomplishment of rebirth. The sunflowers all turn to the child for their source of energy. As you know, sunflowers turn to the light of the sun, they follow the sun. And the full development of this card indicates mastery of skills, independence, and self-reliance. So this is a card of mastering something in your life, independence and self-reliance. And the sun itself rules this tarot because birth and rebirth are happening. And when the planetary sun returns to the place in the heavens where it appeared when we were born, we celebrate that return as our birthday. So you'll hear the saying a lot, another year around the sun. So the number one is the conscious self. The magician is now integrated with the number 9, the hermit, which is attainment and fulfillment, and that forms 19. Therefore, achievement on the intellectual as well as the higher self or wisdom level of mentality is indicated. So the sun represents Ra, the Egyptian god who created all subsequent Egyptian gods and goddesses. He is Apollo, the Greek god of sunlight, and Helios, the personification of the actual sun itself. The sun has a concealed aspect of Christ, for it represents internal rebirth, spiritual rebirth, that's attainable by every person. So whenever the card comes up in a reading, rebirth and personal transformation is in play. And the sun and this transformation brings happiness and accomplishments and self-fulfillment. But mastery is indicated, and that can also be in educational, technical, career, or artistic matters, as well as psychic and spiritual matters, depending where the focus is. The Sun can also be a marriage card when the readings are dealing with family, love, or romance. So if someone's asking, is this the one for me? And the Sun card comes up, it means that it's leading into the direction of marriage. The Sun card also represents good health and the successful overcoming of illness. Of course, that's not something you want to promise, but it does show healing, good health are indicated, and overcoming illness with the ideas of leadership and authority. And these are symbolized with the seeker in the role of chief or head of their situation. Rebirth, where the individual overcomes problems and becomes a new person filled with positivity and health and successful self-expression. And that's one of the tarot card's main meanings. This rebirth may manifest itself by a change in wardrobe, a style, self-reliance, self-disclosure, trust, and an openness are additional manifestations of the growth that's characterized by this card. What I love about this card is it represents protected and safe circumstances. So whenever you get the Sun card, or your person, your seeker is getting the Sun card, then, let them know that this card represents optimism and fulfillment. It represents the dawn, which follows darkness, or the darkness of nights. And the Sun is a life source for our planet. So it represents life energy. And it also represents being joyful, that there's happiness. And when you're happy, you are in alignment with your true self. So the naked child means that they have absolutely nothing to hide, that they're innocent and they're pure. So the Sun card represents success, abundance, and radiance. And it gives strength and vitality to all of those who are lucky enough to actually feel the sun's rays. When the Sun card comes up in a reading and it has to do with love and relationships, and there's happiness and love in the relationship, that there's positivity, there's attractiveness, and that the relationship is meant for each other to feel radiant and to experience the growth. In a career reading, it represents enthusiastic and energy at work. Successful work project. So if I'm like, oh, should I create this product, and I get the Sun card, I know that it is a destiny card and that I have the universal support in the success of it. And financially, it means very strong financial situations. So it does represent stability and motivation and what you're doing. So it's a good energy card. Abundance and happiness,